Ladd McConkey will outproduce JSN this year.
I love you, Jack Lucenay. I love you.
DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett still exist, and Geno Smith is still the quarterback as far as I know. Justin Herbert is a significantly better quarterback, even if he only passes 450 times this year, 450 attempts. You point me in the direction of the wide receiver that's taking targets away from Ladd McConkey. He is the best wide receiver in that room from day one before he's even taken an NFL snap. This man's walking into 150 targets almost guaranteed, and by pure volume alone, he is going to crack 1,000 yards, and he's going to have 5 to 7 touchdowns, and that's the floor. That's the bare minimum.
I would take that bet. I would take that bet. You want to make it for a good cause. You say where you want to donate. I'll donate it because I will take.
Welcome to the Dynasty Pulse with our premiere exclusively right here on Fantasy Sports Advice Network. Also simulcast with later showings on the Undroppables and Fantasy Football Plus. We have a fantastic guest tonight. What you just saw was one of our greatest moments from last year. It was during our Summer of Fish, where we do a whole bunch of Scott Fishbowl mock drafts. By the way, go sign up at scottfishbowl.com. Enter your live events. And if you want to draft with me in Northern California and Sacramento, go to the NorCal thing and say that you want to. But our guest tonight, Jack Lucenay, was on a Summer Fish episode. We did a mock draft for the Scott Fish Bowl, and he and our boy Hoove got into it about JSN versus Ladd McConkey. Jack with the flag plant on Ladd McConkey, who actually did out yardage JSN in 2024. It was a great call by Jack. It was parroted by me as well. Loved it. We were on the same page. I know a lot of guys in here were. So that's what we have to offer tonight. We're going to be doing a Dynasty Startup mock draft with Jack and hoping to repeat some of the fireworks from last year's greatest moments. Like maybe we'll see Jack get into it with Chev tonight, or Jack get into it with Coach.
I like
tonight.
how I'm the minus 600 favorite for who he's going to disagree with.
I've been Coach too,
and that is fantastic.
I can tell you guys, I've been disagreeing with the whole world because I seem to be the only one that thinks that Jalen Milroe is the best quarterback in this rookie class. So,
whoa, okay.
I just moved to plus 9,000.
Eye opener there. So let me introduce our guest. His name is Jack Lucenay. He is all over the Twitterverse and the YouTubes and all that stuff. He has increased the Canadian minority in this group. Jack, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody where you are.
Well, where I am is on hiatus because I'm actually taking a long extended break. We're going to be doing a rebrand of the channel, moving to just best ball for next year. I've become, you talked about being a pickle slut. I'm a best ball slut. And I'm out on these dynasty streets, these season long, wait 3 months for the results. I'm out here. I'm betting on golf. I'm betting on women's basketball. I'm betting on anything I can find out here except baseball. That's where I draw the line. But you can still find a lot of my old stuff. The Worst Sports Channel. It's a lot of the best stuff there, honestly, is the interviews I did with a lot of the people in the industry. I did a lot of great interviews, over 50 of them on the channel. So you can go and check those out. Those are evergreen content. So I just highly recommend the Worst interviews.
Yeah, we had a really good one. I had a fun time on that show with you. So let's get into the show sheet. Mike, go ahead and kick us off. Also, I did want to say I got my Toppo Chico because we tried our little bit last week with the Saratoga sparkling water, and it was terrible. I wouldn't wash my face with that crap. Toppo Chico for life.
Toppo Chico for life. I love it.
Not a sponsor, but hey, reach out.
reach out. We need all the sponsors we can get. Well, we're trying to just fill up this sleeper game here. So we're about 4 off. So we're going to be talking about a startup here. We're going to have rookie picks in here. So as soon as you want to pick a rookie, we're going to insert the kicker emblem in there, and they'll pick a kicker instead. So I'm interested to see where the 101 will land in this startup. Where do you predict it go in there, Coach? If you were to guess the 101 in a rookie startup, where would you think that would land in this startup here?
As far as going in round 1
or round 2, or like where like if it's Ashton Genty, that's the 101 consensus right now. Yep. Where would you say that pick is going to land here in this startup? Like where, and then maybe we'll revisit where it actually goes.
I would say somewhere in round 2, you're going to get through the trough of the Gibbs and the Bijans. I know in a startup right now, I'm in with your boy Chev, our boy Chev. He went and took Bijan Robinson. So you got to love that in the first round. But Ashton Genty, I would say right about the second round. It just depends in the draft. Are you going to go towards building those core tier hammer wide receivers, be it the Amon-Ra St. Brown, some Malik Neighbors, Jamar Chases, CeeDee Lambs? What's the run on that for the tiers? But in best ball, speaking to what Jack was talking about, you've got Achane just behind Ashton Genty. Genty has jumped Devon Achane in best ball streets. So you got to have it somewhere there. The best ball game and the dynasty game are very malleable together versus a couple of years ago where you used to just build for the future. There's a lot more win now strategy. I know Bigz has talked about win now in dynasty. It's okay to win now immediately in your leagues. I remember last year, Bigz in a mock, he went towards Christian McCaffrey. He was aggressive. So we don't have to be ageist here. But to answer your question, Mike, I'm going to say somewhere in the second round for Ashton Genty.
Yeah, I would agree with that. These rookie picks are not as valuable as they were last year, I would say. So, they're not, a first round at this stage. Now, Chev, leading over to you, we're looking at a quarterback heavy super flex type scenario. What is your strategy headed in here? You're going at number 4. So you would think maybe, a couple of the big top QBs will probably be gone by that stage. Are you looking at maybe a Jamar Chase at 104, depending on, who goes at that? Or are you going to be looking at the quarterback position because it's the, early on, it is a snake draft, but, a third round reversal that really plays into the things, when you're drafting at the start of the draft. So, give our viewers a little bit of insight on how you would approach this depending on, where you sit at 104 here.
It's pretty easy for me. I'd still be looking at Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow right there. I mean, just you're one healthy season away from Joe Burrow giving you consistently 4,530 touchdowns. And it's super flex. That's a quarterback 1, top 5 to 6 more times than it's not. And if not, then it's Jalen Hurts, who's got 4 straight years of double-digit touchdowns. And that's really hard for me to pass up. They're both still rather young. I mean, I believe Jalen Hurts is just turning 27. He'll be 27 come the fall. And Joe Burrow's 28, if I'm not mistaken. I can check that real quick. That's really easy. Yeah, Joe Burrow's 28. Jalen Hurts is 27. Or he'll be 27 when the season starts. He's still 26 years old right now. So Super Bowl champion, insulated by the tush push, which will not get banned. Hashtag stop your crying. Jalen Hurts is going to be a top 5 dynasty QB just on rushing value alone, year in, year out. And that's, and if he gets an uptick in passing volume, then he's going to vie for top 2 or 3. So yeah, I'm pretty locked in on quarterback. If I have to pivot, you'll see me poop my pants on camera because I don't have a backup plan.
Okay. Well, Bigz, your pick is pretty straightforward for you. You're not going to be able to trade out of it at this stage. So talk about 101 before we get into it. Who's your guy? Why is he your guy? And why is that the approach you're taking in this draft?
Well, I typically hate startups at the very beginning of the round. I prefer being on the back end, especially with a third round reversal. That way I can, at the top of the third round, start trying to trade picks and stuff. But I chose the 101 because I want to make a statement in this show. And with the 101, I'm going to be taking Jayden Daniels because he is my quarterback one in Dynasty. This is a Superflex draft, and I want to be holding Jayden Daniels in every format that I can this year. He's a cheat code. We saw what he did as a rookie, and what do elite quarterbacks do? They get better over time. So if the floor is the ceiling, I'm happy with the floor, but I feel like he's got more room to grow.
It's good to be held by Jayden Daniels.
Yeah,
I want to be held by Jayden Daniels.
I want to
hold Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, we want to hold them all.
Not if his mom has anything to do about it.
Oh yeah.
He's not gonna let him hold anyone.
Hey, I give my Zach Wilson on for Jayden Daniels' mom.
You got to sacrifice somewhere, right?
You got to do something. You got to do something unique to get something special now.
With great power comes great responsibility. I'm absolutely with Bigz on that. On Jayden Daniels, the startup that I'm in with Chev, I had the fortune of drawing the 101 money mouth. All right, big high stakes $20 league. I went with Jayden Daniels, so I'm all the way there. Bricked up in the cement aisle for some Jayden Daniels. It's the rushing is just an additional bonus to the passing that Jayden Daniels has. He has a laser, and he's deadly accurate. So Jayden Daniels is not going to wash out due to just working on athleticism. He's not going to have the Justin Fields problem. He is a elite precision thrower of the football. He's dangerous. He's only going to get better weapons. We've talked about it in the offseason. We had this discussion. It was Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, 4-year age difference to Jayden Daniels. And it's so funny how a couple of months change, and now it's really come to the point where it's Jayden Daniels. If you're not early, you're late in fantasy football, and Jayden Daniels is there. And it's funny enough, to my 102 in this startup mock draft, it'll befall me Josh Allen. So I know that's the direction I'm going to go. I know Chev spoke to Jalen Hurts. He's very sharp on that. I will not be pooping my pants, only for the fact that I know for a fact that I will have some Josh Allen. What do you think of that, Schultzy?
Oh, I think that's spot on. I mean, we talked about Jayden Daniels a couple weeks ago with Bob, and yeah, I was in agreement with it. He's the QB1. You mentioned the arm stuff, and that's the big reason, right? Everybody knows the rushing. Like, we don't even need to talk about it. But the arm is what popped and like really impressed me, and it's undeniable at this point. And yeah, they're adding weapons, they added protection. Like, yeah, the only path here is up.
We can all only go up from here in a good way.
Okay, we're almost about to start. We got one left to fill. Jack, you're sitting at the 108. What's your strategy here? Kind of right in the middle there. Yeah, you probably see a good stretch of the, quarterbacks gone by that stage. That's where I've been seeing a lot of Brock Bowers. What are your thoughts on him at that pick? And, what's your strategy headed into this?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be taking Bowers personally. I just don't think he separates from Trey McBride and even, the other tight ends that could potentially pop on a year-to-year basis. You look at Laporta and Kittle. Like, I don't think that I think people got so obsessed with the idea of the Kelsey separator years that they're almost overvaluing tight ends just as a whole across the board. There's lots of guys in a dynasty startup that I would take ahead of Bowers just in terms of like the top wide receivers and running backs. That's probably where I'm looking, unless a quarterback that I'm just in love with falls to me there. But I mean, just to double back and not to be a dissenter, but Jayden Daniels 101, I think that's spicy. And maybe it's me. Like, this is where I think the age gap sometimes gets away from people, where it's like a 4-year age gap on a 25-year-old quarterback. It's like, me personally, I'm still going to take Lamar and Josh Allen because those two are established. I've seen them do it for 4 years, and they're still going to do it for another 10 years probably, where it's like, I get that Jayden Daniels is younger, but it's not such an age difference that it's going to matter in the scheme of how long most players you're going to have most players in a dynasty anyways. Like I just think Jayden Daniels over those two is a little crazy to me. I get it. I'm a little more scared about that, but I would take the chalk picks. Me.
We are. Hey, and you know what's good about that though is you need two sides of a market. So in order to have these high liquidity leagues where there's an efficient market, we need somebody like you in a draft room to have that stance or have that want as far as, you know, in trades, even down the line, post startup.
Yeah. The other thing that I've found is that in a lot of drafts, I'm not able to get Bowers on the back end. I even moved up to 6 in one draft because he had been taken at the 7 before, and then he was taken at the 5 when I moved up to the 6. So he kept going one pick before I got a chance to get him. And the Brock Bowers hype is nigh.
Yeah, it's going off like crazy right now, and that's why I kind of entertain that. You know, he's going to be viewed right now as that elite option at that stage. We know how prolific Travis Kelce was for so many years. Remember, guys? So we're not far off that when we think about it. And a guy that was the number 1 tight end in fantasy football, he led rookies in receptions. He broke the rookie reception record. There's so much going for him. And if you think about, you know, his long-term future, and if you can get that asset, I am almost looking at maybe taking it, you know. So that's where I stand on the Brock Bowers. I'd be willing to take him there, but that's just my thoughts.
I see the point. I just think that, you know, he's the age, the thing that Jack said about, you know, the age between Jayden Daniels and Lamar and Josh Allen. That also applies to Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. And Trey McBride is coming off a very similar season. He just ran terrible with touchdown luck. He only scored 4 touchdowns. So if you can, there's more value in waiting a little bit longer and then being able to select Trey McBride at the end of your, you know, at the middle of the second than there is to just plant your flag on Brock Bowers. Even though Brock Bowers is going to be, I mean, he is the next iteration of the separator at the position in Travis Kelce, but I think Trey McBride also could carry that moniker as well.
Well, it's funny you say that because Trey McBride to Brock Bowers in best ball streets, there's been like a 13 to 15 pick arbitrage gap. To your point, that value was there for the newly signed bag winner, Trey McBride.
And Trey McBride just signed a monster contract today. So, you know, he solidified himself for the long term there. That's an interesting, you know, call. But yeah, it'll be, you know, Brock Bowers has just been, you know, on fire and great rookie season. Biggs, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I was just going to say, I think we need to roll with taking rookies since they're in this draft room. And I don't think everybody in the draft room is privy to take a kicker.
Yeah, so no, they're already in the draft room. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Janty's in the room, so you can just click names.
Yeah, just
if
click
Janty's
names.
in the room with us, please speak to us.
Is Genty in the room with you right now?
Yes.
If Genty is in the room, move this chair.
And he's catching passes.
Now there's a big slew of us at the corner here, all with quarterbacks. It'll be interesting to see what Chev does if he starts a run.
I'm gonna start a run for sure. I'm gonna start a run.
Whew, man, we still got Puka
I knew. Oh man, Caleb! I knew Caleb was gonna go.
You knew it. This is tight end premium, correct?
Mm-hmm.
After
he says after he hits the button.
Change back.
Actually, it's a mock draft, so make it whatever you want.
I got to be true to my word. I don't want my prediction to go wrong. So here is Ashton Chanty in round 2.
I was floating on him.
I mean, he went 210 in that startup that we did that we're doing right now.
Correct.
So that's right on brand.
That's why I asked the question. I'm just kind of seeing where you guys are lying within this.
Yeah, and in my analysis, this is a 0.25 PPC league. That's what I'm going to run off.
You said PP.
Yeah, love PP.
Nice.
All right, now we're getting around the time here where there's the Lad McConkey and JSN debate here. Lad went pretty early here. Bigz went with his two guys. Talk about Lad, Bigz, and do you see him as a true alpha in that Charger lineup? A lot of guys are talking about him being a secondary piece, never being able to do that. But I mean, he looked apart last year as Jack's intro so boldly took us. What are your thoughts on Lad and his future as the mainstay in LA?
I think Lad McConkey top 10 2025 is nigh, and I am ready to invest again. I like his target share to increase this year. I feel like he definitely has, just like with Jayden Daniels. I think he's got more in the tank. He's got a higher ceiling than we even realized, and especially if they design that Chargers offense around the connection between him and Herbert, I think he's got a lot of room to grow too. Also, I'm in a terrible, terrible spot right here with the 101 and then the 24th pick and then watching the third round reversal. So I kind of can't get the guys that I want and have to grab, some leftovers.
Oh, Bucky in the third. That's sexy. That's really sexy. What did I cut out? Ooh, Brees. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do it again.
Draft Brees again.
Double down. Oh, hello. All right. Kitty games down the street, I see. Okay. All right. We're playing some ball now, boys. Okay. All right.
So, Grindberg, I see you're on the clock, and I'll talk up your team, and you can make your selection. But so far, Grindberg has Lamar Jackson. He ran Puka Nacua 210. Puka Nacua is going as a top 5 pick in drafts on Underdog. And then you've got Bucky Irving, Hampton back-to-back. Mike, what was your thoughts behind Irving and Hampton back-to-back, 310 and 4-3?
I didn't like what I saw for the wide receivers there at that stage. I wasn't in for a tight end either. And now I'm seeing a quarterback run, which I was probably expecting. And I just thought it was just in my spot. I like Hampton where he is. He's obviously landing spot dependent. At this stage, he's a consensus 2. I did pick him over Tre'Veon Henderson at this stage, who I have him ranked ahead of Omarion Hampton. But I'm waiting for draft capital and seeing where, if Henderson can get first round capital, I'm going to move him ahead, and I would probably pick him there to kind of have I like Bucky, but I don't think he's going to hold my ship here. I need a kind of an anchor guy, and I think Hampton has got a longevity, so that's where I stand. I didn't see a wide receiver, knowing that I have Lamar and Puka, who are pretty mainstay, pieces there. I really need to kind of make sure those that running back spot is solidified for a bit, knowing that there wasn't a quarterback or a wide receiver I liked in that range.
Beautiful. And it sounds like you're going to differentiate between some Henderson and Hampton based on where you are. You want to get some portfolio management. Jack, while you're making your pick, I'll talk up your team. Looks like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Love the back-to-back quarterback start. You talked up Justin Herbert last year big time with Lad McConkey, so we know you're a big fan of him. Devon Achane, great value at the 3.5. Sam Laporta, if this is tight end premium, 4.8, you love to see it. Xavier Worthy may be the only healthy wide receiver or non-suspended wide receiver to start the season. That is
I was going to say, okay, all right. That's
what would you say? How do you like your team so far?
I obviously love my team, but I took a kind of what I call a safe approach, and I think last year I was very cheeky in a lot of the dynasty startups or even a lot of the redraft Superflex leagues that I did where I tried to push quarterback down the board and take a collection of just a bunch of dudes kind of late, trying to just hit darts on random starters. And that approach honestly just felt like it failed me compared to just, taking the 2 quarterbacks early. And just, I tend to prefer a balanced approach after that. And, it just kind of fell to me that way too, where it was like Achane, a young receiving back that's clearly the lead. And, they shifted things around in the Miami backfield, but he's still very obviously like the guy there. Laporta, I think, is being crazy undervalued going in the 4th round. And Worthy, you look at the end of the season too for Worthy, he started to really turn into almost like that version of Tyreek Hill light that people thought he could be when he was drafted. And I know that because he helped carry me to a championship. I actually made a big trade last year, Amon-Ra and my 2026 first for Worthy, Jonathan Taylor, and Hunter Henry. And Worthy and those guys carried me basically to a championship, first championship in that league. And it's a 16-team dynasty with Tyler Bradley, who runs that league. That's how we met. So
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really big on Xavier Worthy. Like that's why I reached even around early on him to make sure I had him on my team.
Hey, you like reaching around, don't you?
Yeah.
Let me Grindberg, go ahead and hit that mute button. Smash that mute button, and then also if you log in on your phone and do your stuff on your phone, Grindberg, we don't have to see all of your cooking and get ready to snipe you.
Hey, one question follow-up for Jack. You've gone back-to-back in a startup, Burrow, Herbert. How long do you wait? Do you have a process until you wait until your 3rd quarterback? Do you take value as it's presented on the board? What's your approach there? Do you go and take the advantage at quarterback and run up your rest of your team build? How do you approach it?
Yeah, I mean, taking 2 cemented starters like that, barring injury, I'm definitely pushing my 3rd quarterback way down, like double digits, and it'll depend. At that point, then I'll take maybe a 3rd QB depending on value. Like I was really in on Bryce Young last year as a 3rd quarterback for when I was taking quarterbacks early. He was a guy that I was taking as a 3rd QB a lot. Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback was another one, Fields / Russell Wilson. Just combinations like that where they're being completely overlooked. Those are the kind of guys that I would take as like a 3rd QB if I decided to start double quarterback off the top.
Very nice. So it sounds like you take advantage of the fact that you've already gained an advantage. You don't want to take away from that by using bullets up. I guess something would really have to slap you in the face as far as good value to get that 3rd quarterback. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean,
like some Canadian bacon in the morning slapping you in the face.
Schultzy took my Johnson.
Johnson rod.
Get your hands off.
Only guys
Chev
that I
Johnson,
could think
Schultzy.
of, like Stroud. If Stroud had maybe made it all the way back to like 5th round, then you have to start to think about that just because of the potential advantage of having, 3 young stud quarterbacks going forward. But that'd be about it. I'm about to do something I don't normally do because I feel like I was so balanced and young in the beginning that I'm just going to double up on San Francisco rebound year.
Beautiful. That's crazy value for what George Kittle represents too.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons on less than 100 targets. No Debo anymore. I mean, he's the last time that he got 120 plus targets, he put up 1,300 yards and had the receiving yardage record for a tight end for like 4 hours.
For like 4 hours.
Well, Kelsey broke it.
That sucks. He didn't even have to call a doctor for that record.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't even stay bricked up long enough to really celebrate. Oh, that's a good pick. Dak going right there. That's great value. Future Cleveland Brown, Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on the clock, I saw Joe Mixon, and my brain read a little bit ago. I was looking at guys, and my brain read Joe Milton, and I was like, My God, the hype has gone so far.
Out of control.
That's one that's really funny because last year Joe Milton last year was my Jalen Milroe of this year, where it's like I was the kind of like the standout of like I had him way higher than most people. I was super in on him.
I knew it.
And then the NFL disagreed with me, and he went really late in the draft, and I couldn't really figure out why. And I don't know if I feel like it's a bit of a slow movement. Some of these old heads as NFL coaches of like, just take the athletic guy and develop him. Like, what are you doing with these geriatric, like can't move like you have to, at this point, you have to have a quarterback that can effectively run rollout schemes in the NFL. Like you can't have these like statues anymore unless they're just like legitimately like the best throwers of the football that you've ever seen.
Well, to that point, like most guys aren't really willing to develop a quarterback anymore either. So like they're looking for guys that can come in and play. And usually if you're trying to develop somebody, it's gonna the next coach is the guy that's gonna benefit from it. So they're not willing to take that chance. What do I do here? I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Draft a player.
Whoa.
Yep, I was looking at him, Chev. So you're in the right
value.
territory. Hey, Chev, question: would you have considered Josh Downs had he been available to you in that part of the queue?
No, it was between Judy and George Pickens for me. You know me, I love George Pickens like my firstborn son, but
George Pickens' breakout is nigh.
It is nigh. How about a follow up on that though? Chev Sanders goes right after. Chev, any consideration to Sanders at that point? Or
I was looking at a third quarterback. I was looking at third quarterback there. I feel like I could wait a little bit longer. I like in this next round and get a guy that I'm really excited about. I mean, Shadeur obviously represents tremendous value based on where he's projected to be drafted. There's some in here that believe that he's not an NFL quarterback / not a first round pick. I vehemently disagree with that notion, which is why my name is now Shadeur Sanders. So I don't mind that at all. I mean, I think that that's going to be a great value. The question is like, where are some of the, so ESPN's latest mock did a 7-round mock where they had Tyler Shuck going 33rd overall to the Browns. Like, what does that do for that guy's draft cap?
I've been hearing it.
I mean, yeah. Not Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper's flunky. What's his name? Todd McShay. Todd McShay has been very vocal about Tyler Shuck since late January.
Yeah, that's why Hoove is so high on him too.
Yeah, and so I don't agree with it, but clearly there's some steam there, and I'm unsure. Like he's gonna get really, really, really steamed up if he gets 33rd overall capital. But I'm just kind of waiting to see where, he and Jackson Dart fall in this draft. I mean, Jackson Dart went to the Rams in that mock draft, and that would make me want to draft him at the back of the first if that happens.
Shadeur Sanders is lighting up this chat. Somebody sniped him with that pick. The other guy who got sniped is very angry. And then Jafar comes in with
some of the words that are being said.
He's a bust. Relax. Followed by, he didn't just go disrespecting the Shadeur Sanders. I wonder what Shadeur would have to say.
A question for Schultzy. I see you have a sneaky Jaguar stack, T-Law, BTJ, come away with Drake London, Gibbs at the 12-13 turn, Jared Goff as your second quarterback, Caleb Johnson, I love him still, Tyreek Hill, great value in round 7, Trey Benson, who Shadeur Sanders has been hyping up, and Devontae Adams. I feel like Schultzy is killing this, especially in a win now scenario. Schultzy, can you break down your team for us?
I was really looking to start Neighbors BTJ. I got sniped on that one. So I went with Gibbs, but I just went BTJ over the other crop there because, I'm a Jags homer, right? But, for once in my life, the Jags homer thing, it's okay here, right? Like, it's okay. It's fine. I just love the dude. He's going to get a bazillion targets. He's faster than everybody else on the field. Like everything they asked him to do, he was really good at. And now we're getting an offensive upgrade here, staff-wise, scheme-wise, and especially the Cohen offense like loves to use screens, like top of the league in screen usage. Get that dude the ball, let him run, let him cook. He's going to be electric this year. Can't wait. Drake London stacking on top of our boy Penix. I mean, that's going to be some massive growth. You saw that at the tail end of the season last year, that relationship forming and budding. And then, I waited intentionally for round 4 on quarterback because being in the 12, I knew I wasn't going to get the premium guys. So I just said, I'm going to chill and then I'm going to double up 4-5. And I felt like Lawrence Goff was 1-1. I got the stack and then the Goff, just good value there. Tyreek,
like what the board gives you from a quarterback standpoint, to your point, you weren't going to get the top half run that the advantage is there for the early drafters.
Right.
Man, Grindberg, dog, twice, man. I was going to go dart. I was going to try and go dart to snipe Bigz. All right. That's what I get.
Now you see how it feels. You see how it feels when he just drafts everybody you want to draft.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah. Well, if you want to see my thoughts, just look at Grindberg's team. That's what I would have done.
That's what he did to me all of last year. Every time I talk about somebody on a show, he would draft
sneaky Tyreek take. I was mixing up those words. I think he's going to get traded. Like, he's clearly a little disgruntled. It's been hinted at, and I don't think a bad team's going to do it. I think a contending team is going to do it. And I just think that talent on a better team, I'm just not sold on the Dolphins. I love Tyreek there. And then Adams too, man. We got 2 veterans this late in the draft, and Adams is going to freaking smash this year with Puka opposite of him. I love that value there.
Big bounce back for Devontae.
Yeah, I mean he's hashtag good at football, so you know. Oh, okay. All right, coach.
You see me?
Okay.
I see you.
Somebody read the article. Okay. All right.
It's crazy. It's insane. Tajay Spears, people are just like memory holing the fact that Tajay Spears was going ham in the fantasy football playoffs. Tony Pollard out of the way, he was going off. It's a championship week. Of course, it happened. He got hurt. It's not like we're going to rewrite history. Great pick with RJ Harvey right after. But I really do like Tajay Spears, especially if they don't get draft competition. And it's funny enough, Chev, I was looking at Devin Neal as well in that range. So funny enough, we're in that trough of running backs where we're taking.
Well, I mean, right? again, Grindberg just – oh, we can't curse. Grindberg's just taking all my players. Just, yeah.
Sorry.
Cool. That's not very Canadian of you at all, Mike.
That's a little tariff he threw on you.
That's exactly what it was. It was just I'm getting tariff through the ying over on my end, so I might as well throw them back. And no, I like a lot of these guys here that I've been seeing some value on. I'm pretty weak on wide receiver right now, but I see where I have some strength. So I'm going to look at wide receiver in the next couple of rounds and see what I can muster up.
Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Who's next up here? Okay, so Schultzy, you're looking here like you might be in a tight end range at some point soon. Are you going to wait a little bit longer? Are you going to go with Evan Ingram because he's kind of like, that Joker role that could be a top 10 pick this year? And, you know a lot about the guy. And
you already knew I was about to. You called me out so hard on that. I just got.
Well, I just looked at your lineup and I just see, that veteran kind of build, and you're a win now kind of squad at this stage. I mean, obviously with your running backs, you could probably add some veteran depth pretty easily down the stretch here. So, those two younger running backs and Caleb Johnson, Trey Benson, you're going to have some time for them to develop. And if one of them can pull into a lead role at one point of the season, which a lot of people are banking on Trey Benson doing at some points, or planting, James Conner, who's aging and has not been, known to play full seasons throughout his career. So this Trey Benson pick I thought was pretty savvy. Chev's been on him all off season. Talk a little bit more about Trey Benson there, Chev, and why you think his situations there.
I mean, I just think
Chev.
All right, so all the signs are there. We're talking about James Conner coming off a career high in games played, touches, and rushing yards. And everybody's going to be all horned up thinking that he's the long-term answer. He's the long-term answer. Did somebody just take Rashard Smith?
Dude, that's why I just reacted to a minute ago.
I was laughing at Chev's comment in the chat.
All right, bro. All right. When you see this, Jose, from now on, it's on site. Whenever. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry. I'll get back to business here in a second. I gotta type some hateful stuff.
Oh, you son of Chev.
You knew that I told you. I said it. I gotta do a thing here. You heard me say that. So all right. So anywho, yes, Trey Benson, James Conner, not really tied to the team beyond this year. Played the career high in yards, or played the career high in games, touches, all that. What does that tell you about James Conner? He's 30 years old. He'll be 30 years old when the season starts. And all of those things are potentially going to regress. So for me, it makes sense for them to spend, to give their guy, the guy that they spent the 92nd overall pick on, like more of an opportunity. And James Conner's going to do that probably because he's not going to stay healthy as much as he did last year. So best case scenario, we'll probably get 13, 14 games, and Trey Benson will be a guy that's cheap, especially in season. So yeah, I think that Trey Benson, I think it's a screaming value in best ball. So I don't see why we wouldn't. It's not going to break the bank. I mean, he's cheaper than he was last year when he was going ahead of James Conner in best ball. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
For me, it was, I do like Trey Benson, the player, but it had more to do with, the Conner cliff is like, we're on a fast track to that. And I took him in the tail end of the 8th round that I think I'm going to get, potential workhorse stuff out of. And that's value smash.
Yeah. I mean, in a startup, that's, you've got 2 years of contract insulation after this year. You've got the athletic profile. All of that points to him being a guy who we look at. I said that in the video. I was like, we could look back and be like, man, how did we not see this coming? And you could think that he's not good all you want to. He's 215. He runs a 4.3, and he averaged 4.6 yards a carry in that offense. Now they did lose Clayton Adams, but I'm anxious to see how Drew Petzing does this, because I mean he's from that Cleveland Browns tree, and I think that they can piece together a run game more often. Who took Dylan Sampson? Man, we're not supposed to curse, and y'all are getting real close to making me curse. This is ridiculous.
We're all up to
attack at this point. So you know what? I'm all right, cool. I'm gonna punt Baxter off of a bridge. You guys keep messing with me.
Bad man punted Baxter.
No! Don't.
I'm in a glass case of emotion. How is Travis Kelce the 15th tight end off the board?
He old, man.
I think
17.
people must be assuming he's only playing 1 or 2 years.
Schultzy's team is
perfect fit for my team.
The geriatric ward at the.
Don't be afraid to win now, Schultzy.
Bro, your team
youth there. Yeah. I was
on
on
the first 4 picks is like, oh, okay. We're building, like we've got a we've got a pretty wide window to win, and the last 8 are like, oh no, we're going.
Oh, we're doing it now.
Before these guys let CTE set all the way in.
My time is nigh.
My time.
My time is nigh.
I would have loved to have snagged one of the Iowa State boys, but wasn't in the cards.
You knew better. You knew better.
It wasn't coming around back.
Was it coming in the front?
It was the reach around.
It was the reach.
Ever felt that?
Jack's
one?
got amused by our humor, guys.
He's on the East Coast. Yeah, he's ready to.
Chev.
Mm-hmm. It was coming
What you want me to put? I don't like the things that I put on camera, like on the internet, written in pen. It's stuff that I actually believe. So why wouldn't
I know, and I do too. And you just you're just sitting just enough in front of me, and you're taking guys that we have to go searching for because their ADPs are way down the draft board, and you just keep taking them, and it's making me angry. I have to search for them too.
What happened there?
It's on auto pick.
Shout out to the cokeheads.
That didn't happen. The hell. I did not pick J.K. Dobbins, but
all right, I'm going to take a kicker here so that I can draft Lan Larison.
Let's go.
Oh, you son of a biscuit eater.
He took Mason Taylor.
You sneaky dog. All
we'll
right,
just have to have a trade.
I'll do it.
Mid-season.
I'll do it. I'll take one of the exciting ones. Nothing. Nobody.
Scatabo. All right, tell us about Scatabo. They're Chev.
He's a real gym rat.
Real gym rat, real coach's player, real
pail guy,
real first guy in, lunch pail guy, coach on the field, real heady player, always in the right spot at the right time, and he runs the ball. He runs the ball like he is absolutely offended that you would want to tackle him. Now, is he the most athletic? No, but actually his athleticism profile is very similar to David Montgomery, and also as well too. He caught 44 passes at the collegiate level, so he can catch passes. People think that he's just Mike Allstott or Kyle Juszczyk, but I think he's so much more than that. And I think that he's gonna land somewhere where he proves pretty early on that he's an NFL running back. So yeah, I couldn't pass on that right there.
Yeah, that's fair, right? I mean, he's got that opportunity that, you know, if he can get some sort of draft capital and work his way on the field, I think he's a guy that will not relinquish that role and really play into something, but he's going to have to, you know, work his butt off to get that shot. And, you know, we'll see what happens. There's probably going to be a team or two that are interested in him. He kind of fits that San Francisco 49er demographic. So I'm looking for them to maybe look for him. What are your thoughts on that kind of landing spot there, Chev?
I love it. I mean, I would like to see him more in a counter gap scheme like Dallas, but I mean, the San Francisco landing spot just kind of crystallizes that Kyle Shanahan will be able to maximize his usage and versatility. I mean, it's just, I'm on the clock here. My bad. Give me easy money. Yeah. So yeah, I think that
it's our last pick.
If he lands in San Francisco, that just immediately crystallizes the fact that we're going to get the maximum out of his skill set, even though it'll probably be unlimited touch volume. He may be used as a fullback first. I got to jump, guys. Jack, it's a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Guys, I will see you soon.
Peace.
Hey.
All
Jack,
right.
I love those last 2 picks you just knocked out. I was going to take Kirk, but like I was pretty loaded on wide receiver. I felt like I wanted to double dip on more running back depth. I don't think Kirk is going to like go light the world on fire, but this late, like he's going to be a reliable dude, like no doubt, and he's going to see targets.
Yeah, I mean, those last 2 picks, you kind of just took it right out of my mouth. Kupp and Kirk. I think Kupp, a little bit of a revenge tour staying in the NFC West, and Kirk being kind of that like more wide receiver 2, middle of the field, PPR guy for Stroud. Again, just looking for reliable starters at the end of the draft. Since I did basically punt wide receiver, I went very balanced. Got my quarterbacks early. I got multiple tight ends in there. Went kind of heavy running back early, just the way the board was falling to me. I wasn't super in love with the wide receivers as compared to if Christian McCaffrey returns to even 75% of himself in the 6th round, that's crazy. Kittle in the 7th, Joe Mixon just kept falling. I couldn't let him go past me. But the guy I really want to talk about, and I took him real late. He's my favorite rookie running back so far out of such a intense, really talent-laden rookie running back class. Bashal Tootin. I have not heard a single word about this man, even though he had the fastest 40 time, right at 4.32. Dude's 5'9", 206. He's 22 years old, out of Virginia Tech. And when I was watching the pro day, kind of doing my notes, I've been completely out. I haven't watched college football, and I have not really followed a lot of the rookie stuff. So I was watching the pro days and the workouts and the highlights. All of a sudden, this Tootin guy pops up, and I'm like, who is this man? And when I'm watching the Staley drills, the receiving drills, he looks the best. Kind of the same way last year for me, Lad McConkey just passed eye test of that dude's got balance. The same way Bucky Irving kind of has just that balance inside. And then he goes and drops a 40.5-inch vert and a 10-10 on the broad jump. I was like, man, this dude's just an athlete. Yeah. And nobody's talking about him. And I think it's crazy. He just smashed the pro day to me. His highlights look good. And yeah, he's just being widely ignored, I feel because it is such a heavy draft class. But I'm he to me is my biggest dynasty rookie sleeper that I'm going to reach around early. If I'm in the 3rd round, I'm going to grab him over all of the scatter shot, whatever dudes. And I think obviously the draft coming is going to flip a lot of the board, but depending where he goes, if he ends up a day 2 or 3 pick, he's going to fly up the board.
We have been high on Tootin since the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he's been good, and
talked about him a lot.
Yeah, Bigz has been on him. He was the first guy that I ever heard speak his name, and it was a long time ago, Bigz. And I've been on him since. And you brought him to light, and now he's rising up. He had a great combine, like you mentioned, Jack. And that's a really good pick down there, especially if you can get day 2 capital. It all lies on that, right, you guys? So and he's a guy that is in that 12 to 20 range in a lot of guys' boards, and he's a guy that if he gets that capital, will definitely be one to look for sure.
He's a borderline top 15 NCAA running back in missed tackles forced. He's got the speed. He's got the juice, make you miss. I like the guy too. Yeah.
All right, guys. Do you guys want to give your MVP team real quick before we end the show here for our folks? You can't pick your own team, but maybe pick somebody, maybe that you think that is got a strong contender. Obviously, you're one. I see Schultzy's team is pretty deep there, but what do you, Bigz? You're good at dissecting this stuff. Who's your team of note?
Yeah, I apologize for winning the mock draft again. It seems like I just can't lose these things. I'm looking, and I really like Lando's team. He went with Bijan and Barkley off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
Went to AJ Brown. DJ Moore, I think, is going to have a huge year. Grabbed Jacoby Myers a few picks before I wanted to grab him. He's looking at a deep quarterback room with Baker Mayfield and Justin Fields, I think, is going to be totally slept on. Although I don't like the fact that his last 3 picks were quarterbacks, stacking quarterbacks like that. I think he could have used his imagination more and grabbed some wide receivers and running backs rather than Russell Wilson, Tyler Shuck, and Joe Milton. I don't think Joe Milton is going to see the field probably. Russell Wilson has a chance to not do that as well. Tyler Shuck is he's Todd McShay and Hoove's darling at the moment, but he is an older prospect. But I really love the start of his draft. The back ends, you kind of got to go with California Cool. His last 5 picks: DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson, Tony Pollard, Rashad White, and Blake Corum. For dart throws, to see in a 0 RB style, if somebody's going to kind of pop off out of that group, especially when he's looking at Brock Bowers and Amon-Ra St. Brown at the top. I like that one too. But I think I'd have to give it to Lando.
I love the Purdy value they nailed there in the 4th, because my plan when I doubled quarterbacks, I wanted to go Purdy and Lawrence. I got sniped on that one, but I think Purdy's a great value.
Well, I think JJ is a huge value there. I got him way ahead of some of these guys that went after him: Jordan Love, Cam Ward, Trevor Lawrence. I'm really high on JJ McCarthy. I just seen what Kevin O'Connell can do in that offense with a quarterback. I mean, look what he did with Nick Mullins, for crying out loud. And, obviously last year he turned Sam Darnold into a top 10 quarterback, a Pro Bowler. So I'm excited to see what he can do with a more talented, JJ McCarthy. Maybe not so, developed, but he played a lot of years in college. So we'll see what happens here. And I'm excited to see what a JJ McCarthy does. But I like that value there too. Both those quarterback values are strong. All right, Jack, who do you got as your pegger, as your number one team here?
From the dreaded, I think the most dreaded spot in any draft ever. And it could be 12 team, 10 team. It doesn't matter. It's always, to me, the worst spot is the pick before last. I hate that's my least favorite, but the 111 Jafar here, Jafar, I really like the way their team worked out. Not huge on the Cam Ward pick. I would have picked a different quarterback, but besides that, I mean, you start with Neighbors and CeeDee Lamb, who I think bounces back, and you get him in the 2nd round. You get Kyron all the way in the 5th, pair it with Walker, and then you get Charbonnet, handcuff in the double-digit rounds, so you didn't have to really spend a lot of capital on that. You get the whole Seattle backfield. I really like a lot of their picks. I think the Tank Dell Brooks picks at the end is a bit of wish casting, but like the rest of the team, I think is really balanced. I think getting value on Loveland and Mark Andrews late too was, just kind of balanced their team out. So I think they are, if this was a dynasty startup, you look at a team that potentially can compete this year and in the future. I like their startup. I also liked Schultzy right next to them, starting with Gibbs and BTJ. I was a huge BTJ guy last year, and I am this year again. And I like the value he got on his tight ends with Evan Ingram finding his way to Sean Payton in Denver, and Travis Kelce playing the guitar for 1 or 2 more years.
There you have it. Yeah, I like that call there. I do like Jafar's team as well. You pointed out a lot of cool things there. I mean, Malik Neighbors and CeeDee Lamb, those are pretty elite wide receivers to start a stack with, and still have some stability with some couple of young quarterbacks, and the value with the running backs is really good there. Schultzy, who's your guy?
I really like this team in the middle, Lentez. I think that's a great hammer start for wide receiver, Jefferson and Nico. I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger on Nix there, but I can't argue it. I mean, regardless of what you thought of him coming out, like, that's a Sean Payton miracle. And I mean, we probably should have given some more credit to Sean Payton doing work with Bo Nix than we did, right? So I can't argue with that. He's going to be a good fantasy guy, especially with the rushing stuff. But looking past that, we mentioned mid-draft that Dak value is awesome. But after he took Nix, look at that 3 running backs in a row. Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown in rounds 3, 4, 5. Or I'm sorry, 4, 5, 6. That's a bona fide trio right there. So this team's set up to win. You got your studs at the top, and you rounded it back here. Brashard Smith, Ollie Gordon. So behind your trio, you got some nice rookie upside here. I mean, even sliding Pacheco in as some depth is fine. And I like the Debo and Darnell Mooney picks at the end for some veteran guys to add. My one critique here is I One tight end, I'm not super big on that. I would have drafted a second tight end. And other than that, I think that's about it for me. I really like the team.
Why don't you read your note from the show sheet?
Oh, yeah. My note from the show sheet was Bigz. He always wins the mocks.
Appreciate you.
He does win the mocks. All right, guys. That was a good show. There was a good, forecast, if you will, of what, these startups are looking like, when these rookies are going to be landing. And it was interesting to see, where these rookies fell with these big league NFL guys. So, Bigz. Like you always do.
Well, I'm glad. Pardon me. Asthma sucks.
I'm glad. Toppo Chico bubbles.
I'm glad to know that moving forward in startups, I'm going to have to bump up Jaden Higgins another round because I can't risk not getting him. Thank you guys for watching. I do want to remind you, go to Facebook and look up Rollin' Smoke in the 907 or call 907-723-5034 for smoked meats and cheeses and pickles, the best pickles around. Dude doing good work out of Big Lake, Alaska. I have a commercial that's being worked on right now that will start popping in our shows. As well, we got the scottfishbowl.com. Go and sign up for your live event. I know there's one in Charlotte this year. That's pretty close to one of our hosts, so hopefully he can get out there.
Two of us.
We've
Coach and I already talked. We're gonna try.
There you go. And also our partner over at fastdraft.app, courtesy of Player Profiler. Go to fastdraft.app if you want to draft, and if you love to draft and you like drafting fast, draft faster with Fast Draft. Fastdraft.app. Get in there. We got the Origins game. We got an IDP game. We got the Flex 4 game. You can compete against all of us and lose your money because we're going to be winning it and all of those things. Thank you for watching on FSAN, Undroppables, and Fantasy Football Plus. Thank you to our guest, Jack Lucenay. Tell him again where to find your stuff, especially your hockey stuff if you're into hockey like Mike.
Well, the hockey stuff's coming next July. It's coming.
Got it.
Relaunching Best Ball in July. All Best Ball all the time. Until then, go watch The Worst Interviews. It's a collection of great interviews with a bunch of people in the industry, including Bigz, including Grindberg. So make sure you guys go check that out. The Worst Sports Channel on YouTube.
And thank you guys for watching. We hope you win.
Hope you win.
Peace. We hope you win.